Hey y'all, it's Listening Lotus coming back to you with another read. How are you guys doing out there? I hope you guys are taking good care of yourselves, okay? Doing everything that you can to keep yourself as synchronized as you possibly can, both mind, body, and spirit. Simple as that. So go ahead and just see what is gonna come out for y'all today. Definitely getting to the big boys with this deck. All right. Okay. Off the bat, we have family, not happy. Okay. And pop the question. Wow. Living in the moment. Karmic ties. Okay. All right. You know these love to tell a story, so let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. So, some of y'all collective, it's looking like somebody was trying to get their shit off and they didn't get to. Simple as that. They was trying to start a family, get married, but the ultimate motive was to simply lock it down for not the right reasons, right? But they not happy that none of that came to fruition. Because whoever I'm speaking to, male or female, okay? You shut all that shit down. Living in the moment, okay? And turning your back. You turn your back to this whole scenario. You was just like, yeah, I'm not... I see what you're doing here. It's not going to work. They trying to sweet talk, see if they can wiggle themselves back in. Okay, this could be potentially somebody that you have children with the family card coming out. Okay. Or you were considering to, get married, have a family with. But it did not pan out. And so it don't matter how much they saying or what it is that they saying. This is where you at. Whoever I'm talking to. I do feel like this is more of a female, a divine feminine, but it could also be a masculine. I mean, whoever this is, y'all got up out of there. And the reason why I'm saying that, because whoever it is, they had to have done something. And whatever they did, and it might have been something even subtle, right? There was something that they did that kind of alerted your instincts that this wasn't the right move. Okay, so whether if they got to this point where they popped the question and you declined it, or you got up out of there before they considered to pop the question. Okay, but there was definitely an offering on the horizon. Okay, and I like the fact that okay, this card is a little messed up, but it says love and hate, if you can make out what it's saying. But you blocked this person or whatever because y'all did have more of a love-hate relationship. Y'all know how I say it's a thin line between love and hate. Sometimes, some relationships, hey, that's how they end, okay? And you got to really work through that. Now, for the sake if y'all do have children together, okay, let's get some more context on this. But I do feel like that person mirrored different versions, because a lot of times they do say that, how does that go specifically? I'm quoting, but it may not be word for word. But basically, they was like, a lot of times when people trigger you, or they may mirror certain things about you or whatever, that there's different versions. You were once that version of that person that you may not like the version that you're seeing. Long story short. So say if this person was like really disrespectful. Maybe at one point of time or whatever, you were really disrespectful, but it took for this person to come and mirror that version of you to you so that you could address it. Because, and the reason why I'm saying that is because with the love and hate or whatever, like, oof, okay, what's this? And divine feminine. Yeah, that's what I thought. You know what? And this also can go another way. So outside of speaking about the other party, this could have been simply you mirroring them. And mirroring them in a, say they were an imposter. Okay? They were trying to mirror you, but you were living in your divine feminine organically. But they were pretending. Okay, so maybe in the past that was something that you had to learn about yourself, about how you would put on a facade and pretend as if like you were already this, even though there were some things that you probably need to work on or work through. Okay, so let's keep on going, because these cards always, they got so much to say. They got so much to say. All right, let's see what else. Okay, fairy tale, phony, trickster, illusion. Yeah, literally what I was just talking about. Like the mirroring that, and I don't feel like this was you. I feel like at one point this maybe was you, but it could have even been before you had met this person. I feel like you had already learned this lesson, but this person came around to almost put an extra stamper on it, and you were able to basically pass the test that I feel like the universe had for you. Okay, because you did, and the reason why I say that, because literally there was something, only you know what it was. Okay, right, intuitively, that there was either something that they said or something that they did to kind of let you know that even this, what they were doing, but everything, it wasn't panning out as it may have seemed. And you were starting to get certain nudges that, you know, maybe even potentially you guys getting together and getting married and having a family and just like all the different things that, no, they trying to trick you out your spot. They trying to get in front of who is supposed to be your divine masculine and fuck it up. And you happen to get a nudge and was like, yeah, this ain't it. And you listened to yourself and stood on that and got up out of there. And they don't like that with that not happy card. So now they on a vengeful with the love and hate. They're being very vengeful. Okay, but you don't give a fuck about none of that, because you got this living in the moment and turning your back. You like, child, I could care less. Okay, and I love that for you, because it's like, what? Let people stew in their own turmoil. Let people stew in their own turmoil. You ain't got nothing to do with that. Okay. Receiving bad news. Okay. Okay. Faith, healing, meditating, and praying. This could also even be the other person. Like maybe there was some news that they got regarding something. Okay. And so they're really trying to process. Oh. Okay. Whew. These cards get to it, don't they? Who is getting locked up? What is going on? Wait a minute. What is going on? Okay, so. All right. Whatever they got going on, when I tell you dodged a bullet, you dodged a bullet. Because whatever this bad news is has something to do with them being locked up. Okay, it could be regarding a child, and maybe even support for a child. Okay, because family is coming out here a lot. Maybe that was a part of the karmic tie or whatever, where they just haven't been doing everything they need to do for their kid or whatever, and you just basically been trying to keep yourself afloat with the faith, healing, and meditating. You're just like, look, things are gonna work out one way or another. And this bad news, I hope ain't nobody going to jail, but if they going to jail, they going to jail. Potentially them trying to attempt a love spell over you to try and keep you, okay, so that they can get their shit off or whatever with popping this question. But again, you were able to see through all of this. Okay, so kudos to you, divine feminine, seriously, because now they're under pressure. That's the last card that came out. That's why I held it, because I was just like, ugh, they're under pressure. It's almost like they're under a time strain where, and that's the reason why I'm saying it may have to regard something regarding a child or whatever. Like maybe they haven't been helping as far as support in any way, shape, or form or fashion, and they're starting to get anxiety about the decision that they made and understanding the time is running out. Okay, so maybe they need to start making some payments if they haven't been making payments, whatever the case may be, but they getting cracked down about something. Okay, and this can be vice versa, because there's some women out there that be paying child support too. Okay, let's not go there. Let's see what else. Spiritual gifts. I definitely feel like after this karmic relationship, you definitely unlocked it. Like, you were already intuitive before, but this situation here definitely awakened more of your spiritual gifts. You already had gifts before, but it definitely had heightened more of your awareness and put more of the spotlight towards your auric field about your spiritual gifts. Okay, so maybe you a lot more tapped in than you once was before. Let's just put it that way. Okay, and even down to the point of just simply trusting yourself and trusting that this was a decision that needed to be made, regardless of how it may have made you look, okay, or had been perceived for a while. Because it does seem like this person, especially if we're talking about a masculine, people perceive them like this. This was the first card that came out. They perceived them to be like this happy-go-lucky. They were going to be the perfect family man, and behind closed doors, they got a lot going on. And so you have heartbreak. I think both of you guys were dealing with a heartbreak, but specifically you had to really take some time to go within, okay? Especially with this healing, meditating or whatever, because your heart was broke, okay? I mean, seriously, you was working through it, working through some things. And, hey, losing sleep. Yeah. Whatever they got going on, wherever they are getting bad news and losing sleep and under pressure, they're worried about something, okay? They're worried about getting locked up about something or for something. I mean, thoughts become things. Okay, so even for the cross watcher, thoughts become things. You think about this too hard, okay? It's more likely to happen. Simple as that. Let's get some more context. If you feel like this resonates, go ahead and subscribe. I really do appreciate all the likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. Okay. We have sex addiction. I really hope, and this is a trigger warning, but it needs to be said. I hope there wasn't a incident of SA in amongst of all of this, okay? Even if it wasn't you, Divine Feminine, but there is definitely something regarding their sexual tendencies, okay? Yeah. Again, trigger warning, okay? Do with that what you will. Spiritual, it says chaos, ego death, and downward spiral, and a spiritual awakening. I do feel like in the process of this Divine Feminine, this is pretty much just telling your story, babes, and you definitely had conquered a lot. I think you definitely had to go through an ego death, and you ended up getting a spiritual awakening. I think both of you actually got a spiritual awakening, okay? Whether if it was them starting to actually see the influx in their behavior, okay? But also you realizing more of your spiritual gifts, okay? And it took for you to also go through a certain level of a spiritual awakening in order to even unlock those gifts. Simple as that. So I do feel like both of you guys went through your own level of spiritual awakening behind this relationship regarding karmic ties. And it's just unfortunate that it wasn't harmonic in the end, okay? Because the other person is on straight bullshit. Simple as that. If you would like to have a safe space to be able to talk about this, I am, okay, we can talk some lifestyle. You can always text me 1-888-350-3744, okay? And you can also schedule on my website that is in any of the descriptions. Again, Listening Lotus is a empathic listening service, okay? And so we can just get it all out, okay, babes? Now, with this toxic lifestyle, that may be something that you guys came together on, okay? Okay, we can't put everything all on the other person. But I do feel like at one point, whatever brought you two together in order to create this karmic tie, one of you guys obviously consistently kept going down that path, and now they worried about dealing with jail time because they just been doing a lot of bullshit. Simple as that. As opposed to the other person was really, divine feminine. You were going through your own level of processing what you had just done, okay? But holding yourself accountable so that you can be able to get on the other side. Unfortunately, the other side is not looking too great, right? But all in all, if we are looking at it as a whole, definitely both of you guys had a spiritual awakening. So this definitely could have a lot to do with family, and like I said, with the child support or just child court, okay, with the legal matters coming out regarding divorce property. So maybe you guys were already going through a divorce, because with the pop the question, maybe you guys could have already had potentially gotten married. I don't know for sure because I don't know you personally, okay? This is a collective read. But or just accumulation of traffic tickets. So it can have a lot to do with just like their driving license or something like that, okay? But they are very nervous right now and feeling like they're under pressure or a time slot regarding potentially going to jail. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. That's crazy. All right, so let's see what else. Okay, that's pretty much that on that. Let's see what could potentially be worked on more, because I don't feel comfortable leaving this just where it's at. Hell no, I'm not feeling it. I mean, half the deck is on here. They had a lot to say. Let's see. What's going on? Because I might not. Okay. That's very valid. So right now, divine feminine or divine masculine, because the roles can always be reversed. One of the major things that can be focused on far as right now, definitely not the other person, okay? They got to go through what they're going through and deal with it, how they need to deal with it and handle that, right? But one thing that you can work on is healing your emotional trauma, okay? It says you survived what hurt you. Now let the pain come. Let the pain become the seed of wisdom, strength, and spiritual growth. And again, that's the reason why I said with the spiritual awakening, I feel like you already had your spiritual awakening, or at least a version of it, a portion of it, right? And it did unlock more of your spiritual gifts, right? But that doesn't mean that there isn't still things that you need to work on. So I like the fact that it's like having more of the faith. You're working on healing yourself. You're meditating, and you're just being optimistic, and you're praying, to really go internal and work on yourself. You're not paying attention to this person at all. You in this energy. Where'd that card go? So many cards. Okay. You're on this. You just like, they'll figure it out, okay? You're on your path and they're on theirs, okay? And ultimately, I hope that they get their shit together too, okay? We don't want to see nobody being fucked up out here. That's simply that on that. But yes, you acknowledge that this was in fact a karmic tie, and you was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna just head out. I'm gonna just exit stage left and just really focus on how the better ways that I can better myself so that I don't get into this process ever again, okay? You learning from the pain and turning it into wisdom to make sure that what happened this time don't happen again. Simple as that. If you feel that this resonated with you, okay, help bring you clarity, you can always like and subscribe. I really do appreciate y'all. For deeper support, Listening Lotus does offer empathic listening guidance, okay, and the option of oracle guidance, okay. If you do feel comfortable, it is not mandatory with the services. I have on the website as well where you can strictly just ask for being able to just call your girl, okay. You can also text to receive offers. Again, that is going to be at 1-888-350-3744. And in the meantime, just continue to work on healing yourself and your trauma. And we also encourage for the cross watcher or this person, you know, to do the same over time, okay? After they've addressed whatever these certain legal matters are, right? In the meantime, in between time, y'all, please take care of yourselves, okay? Don't bottle stuff in. Do not suppress these emotions, especially when you're going through this level of layered craziness. Get it out, okay? That's definitely literally a part of what the empathic listening service is all about. Helping people who are keeping so much pent up out. I cannot express that enough. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to even be a vessel to even give you guys these messages. It has been truly an honor, okay? And I will talk to y'all when I talk to y'all. In the meantime, in between time, y'all take care. Bye.